Well, hello. Hey, I'll stop chatting with people.
Hey. Hello, everybody out there in the chat land coming on in tonight. We got a little couple difficulties. Here we go. We got Brandi coming. We got text back on.
Yep, there they
There
are.
they are. Hey, Brando, text. You disappeared for a brief second there.
Yeah, my whole system shut down. I was like, wait, no.
You know, that's been an ongoing problem for people of late.
I know. So I was like, you know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit there, but wait till they come on. And then I'm going to pop in the studio because if I did not, it'd been popped right in your intro. And I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Well, this is a little different intro for this. I was playing the music and such. You know, it's a little different. Saturday night.
Woohoo!
We've been doing this for a little bit now. It's midnight where I live and 11 o'clock Central for you guys. And I hope the music didn't put anybody to sleep. I got to find some little different music for this one, I think.
Yeah, a little something more snappy.
You know, something so you don't want people falling asleep during the show.
I was going to request that, but not on the live show. I was going to request it backstage.
And I hear snowing. Yeah, Tex already fell asleep. He looks like he looks like he could fall asleep with that big old hat.
Glenn says elevator music.
Yeah, we'll have to spice that up for next time.
So that music is great for your daytime show, nighttime show. We need.
I play rock and roll usually on the day and Tuesday.
We need some rock and roll at night.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we'll have to fix that up. We'll just have to change that up a little bit. I just gotta find some things they don't charge you, and again, you just go on YouTube and find some stuff.
Yeah.
So Tex,
wake up!
I want you to talk just for a little bit. Before we do that, I'm gonna put Tex back to sleep. I want to thank everybody for coming in today. Of course, I'm BMR. It's KRISTA. It's Brandi. It's Tex with our late night show. We've been doing late night shows for a couple weeks now on Saturdays, and people seem to enjoy it. And so, I figure why not keep it rolling. Tonight, we're going to do, Thursday. I got to tell everybody, Thursday, I tell you what, well, first of all, the Blondes and Booze, subscribe to them on YouTube, the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast. We had a pretty cool show Thursday, and we talked about, the Dogman Island. And that was about a 15-minute story. Today's, I'm going to start that a little later because I can get through this story in 7 minutes about something going on in Wisconsin. I dropped a video earlier on it. So I'm going to wait a few more minutes for more people to roll in. It's 12:05 here or so. So before we get started, everybody, if you're new here, a lot of newer people, I'm probably at night. We've got something going on coming up, and there's the updated one. I knew I had it somewhere. June 7th and 8th, we'll all be down in Alabama for the Alabama Bigfoot Conference taking place in Anniston at the Anniston Performing Arts Center. It's brought to you by Sidekicks, not Side Chicks, as I had said before.
Well, somebody else said that earlier.
Yeah, so that's going on. I'm looking forward to that. And the speaker lineup, well, we got Tex Wesson. He's the master of ceremonies. He starts things off on that day. Then our speakers are Barton Nunley, Daryl Denton, the Blondes and the Booze, Jason McLean, Greg Ogles, Martin Groves, and of course, yours truly, BMR. And I have to tell everybody, if you can get down to Alabama, thank you, Justin Boyd. Thank you so much for these. Great way to start the
Justin.
show.
Yeah, thank you.
Great way to start the show. Thanks, Justin, man. Appreciate that. This conference is one of the cheaper ones when it comes to ticket pricing, I think, you guys. Like $30 at the door, $35 online.
Yep.
So it's very fair.
Got it backwards.
$30 tickets online, $35 at the door.
There you go.
Yeah, boy. Anyway, I it reads differently on the flyer, don't it?
Nope.
No.
Oh, okay, well, my bad. June 7th We are having a meet and greet. Excuse me. We are having a meet
We're
and
all
greet.
tired and slap happy.
You know, I think so. It was 65 and sunny, and I was doing some yard work, and then I'm waiting for midnight to roll around. You know how you got a late show, and you got 4 hours to kill. So I went on the Paranormal Paul show with KRISTA was on that, but you're trying to kill time, and so the hours drag on.
I took a nap, so
yeah, typically I would take a nap, but I gotta wait till I hit my 60s for that. I think when I turn 60, I don't know if Catherine Gay is in the chat room. I'm not looking in the chat right now. She took an early nap. She was telling me.
I gotta say, you ain't gotta wait till your 60s till you take naps.
No,
I'm a big nap fan.
I am too. I love my naps.
Well, you guys know that I have crazy ass dreams, and they're crazy if I take a nap at 2:30 in the afternoon. I got to tell you right now.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, June 7th, the conference is June 8th. June 7th, you guys, is we're doing a meet and greet. I don't know the name of the location. I guess it's on www.bigfootconference.com.
Western Sizzling.
Western Sizzling. Okay. Yeah. Well, very nice.
Buffet style.
So we'll all be meeting there on the 7th, and it's booked already, but the restaurant won't turn people away, and neither will we. So come hang out with us. It's gonna be a great time. I'm excited. And and so one other bit of news, I got to thank everybody that's bought my book, of course. Bigfoot, Michigan Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1, found on Amazon. The link is, of course, in the show and on the page. If you've bought it, thank you, and leave a review when Amazon comes calling, because it helps promote sales. Everything's analytics these days. So thank you for that. Book 2 is coming out in the middle of summer. And tonight when we do, when I tell this encounter tale that we're all going to break down, it actually comes from my book. I'm dropping a couple snippets from the book throughout for the next couple weekends, just so, and of course, Brandi's got one. Thank you, Brandi, very much. I get to autograph that when I see you in June.
Yes, I've got to bring it. Yes.
Oh, by the way, if anybody's already bought the book and you're going to be in Alabama, bring it on down. I won't charge you to sign it. How's that sound? So
good deal.
So thanks for all that.
Can me and Brandi promote our event?
Well, you can, because I want to wait a little longer before I get started. Then we can get into the subject. But yes, go right ahead, KRISTA, Brandi.
Okay, Brandi, go right ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, Blondes and Booze is holding an event at Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois. It is on the paranormal side, but we are going to be having all kinds of speakers and celebrity guests that are coming. This is May 18th to the wee early hours of the 19th. We're having Jessica Potter, the psychic mermaid. I just call her the psychic mermaid because that's what she is. She's just a mermaid is what she is. She looks like a mermaid. Anyway, she'll be there. Our very own Paul Anthony from Paranormal Among Us will be there. Robin Terry, who owns Ashmore Estates, who has met the who's who in the paranormal world. He will be speaking that day. Josh Hurd from Malvern Manor, who also knows the who's who of the paranormal world, will be there and speaking about his location. And we also have Letitia Nunley will be showing up with us. I don't know how much ghost hunting she'll do, but by gosh, she's going to go. She's going to try it out. So that's amazing. And we also have Jessica Potter's friend, Rachel Marie, who is an awesome person who will also be there. Did I leave anybody out? I don't think so.
Yeah, and actually, Rachel Marie, she's actually been in the paranormal for many years. She was married to Christopher Booth, who he and his twin brother, they did Waverly Hills documentary. They did Zombie Road, Children of the Grave, several of them.
Yeah, they're known as the Booth brothers. So if you're looking for any of their documentaries,
in the world as well. But she's no longer married to him. She's actually married a a tattoo artist who is like champion in that. So anyway.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Which, this is going to be a lot of fun because we're going to have speakers throughout the afternoon. Then we're going to feed you. And then we're going to ghost hunt to like 2 a.m. So it's going to be amazing. All you have to do is go to Eventbrite, look up Blondes and Booze, and it should be the first event that pops up.
Yep.
So make sure you check it out. And it's just going to be fantastic. It's a great place. If you've never investigated or a seasoned investigator, this is an awesome place to go.
Yep. And Keith says, wish y'all would come to Michigan. Hey, we were in Michigan last year, and you never know because our buddy here, BMR, lives up there. So
Yes,
you
just never know.
You never.
You just never know. And I was in Ohio in November, so I was close.
Say this. Yes, Brandi, and I will say this: the Blondes and Booze, for those that don't know, they are well traveled.
Mm-hmm.
Got my bags packed already. Just got to throw them in the vehicle. Let's go. We're ready.
Yep.
I'll be somewhere in April.
Well, thanks for chiming on
What
in,
do you mean? What do you mean, you? We.
Yeah.
We.
And I'm still undecided.
Tex will be at the, of course, what are they calling that? The monster, what are they calling that? To be exact, because KRISTA and I were looking it up, but it is the Bigfoot conference in South Arkansas.
I've got the flyer on my stuff, but I'm on my phone tonight, so.
Oh, yeah, poor Tex doesn't have the internet. He's stuck like me.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry because that sucks, and I know.
I'm looking it up.
Well,
but it is.
So I can't even see y'all. I'm just sitting here looking at myself, which is torture.
You really can't see us?
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a little bitty picture about this big up on the top of my phone of the whole thing.
Well,
it's called 2024 Falk Monster Festival.
There you go. And that is on the 26th and 27th, you said, or the 27th and 28th?
26th, right here.
26th and 27th, yes.
Oh, okay. So the Tex will be speaking at that conference. Mm-hmm. So if you're around the area or not, see if you can make your way down there and check it out. I know that Lyle Blackburn will be there. Ryan Edwards will also be there. I forgot his first name. I'm
looking for.
Oh my goodness!
Quick.
Chester Moore's going to be there too.
Chester Moore.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. And like I said, without all this stuff, Rob is totally unprepared for us.
I think on the contrary. I think you'll be unprepared for what I'm going to unleash on the both of you.
Oh gosh, no. Woo!
I'm not sure where this is going, but
no, just my crazy spirits. That's all. Nothing more, nothing more, nothing less.
There you go.
Right.
We'll be getting ready to kick her out of her house. I think I'm spending the night at her house one of those days before we go down to. We're going down to see Barton and Letitia. Then we're going to go to Alabama. So.
Yep.
Yeah, she was telling me the other day that she's got the place in the barn for you. So.
I've slept in worse places.
Yeah, I mean, you both.
Me too. Me too.
Well, one more bit of advertising before we get started, because I want to wait for some people to come and thank you. Donnie Show says stuff. Another great
there
channel.
He is. There he is.
Donnie Show, another great channel. And it is, of course, called Donnie Show Says Stuff. And you never know quite what he's going to say. Or frankly, his guests. Great show. Check out Donnie Show.
Oh,
he
said we were raised to believe that Michigan is hell.
Yep.
Well, there is a
hell. So you've been to hell.
There is a hell, Michigan. There is.
Just saying.
And Paranormal Call asked you, BMR, when are you flying to St. Louis?
KRISTA, you probably know better than I. I'm getting there Wednesday conference. I'm getting that Thursday there early. I'll be in St. Louis about 11 o'clock.
Yep, in the morning.
In the morning. And then are we leaving? Are we driving that day?
Yeah, we're going to go hang out at Bart and Letitia's.
Okay, cool. And then, okay. So, yeah.
See, and then I'll be down there Friday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then I think from Bart and Letitia's, it's only like a 5-hour drive.
Yeah.
So.
I'm cool. Of course, we got to make our Buc-ee stop, and we'll be good to go.
That's what I'm saying. I keep saying that.
You need to ride with Brandi then. I'm not a Buc-ee's fan.
Because
Well, I'm not a fan. Hey, listen, it's just, I like just walking in different places. And
we would have a blast at Buc-ee's.
yeah, I like the wall of beef jerky.
Yeah.
The magical wall of beef jerky. Come on, KRISTA.
I just like getting to my destination. I don't like wasting time. I want to get there.
Yeah. Well,
here's my thing.
Yes, go ahead, Brandi.
I was gonna say there's only one thing that I don't like about Buc-ee's. Just one thing.
Yeah.
And I have to have my Monster coffee.
Yeah.
And they don't have it.
Oh. Well.
They carry their own brands.
Well, yeah, I do. I am partial. I only like certain coffee companies.
Mm-hmm.
But again, KRISTA, we won't be in Buc-ee's for no longer than 8-9 minutes. That's all.
You're a liar.
I'm gonna leave my money in the car because I already told you I can't bring nothing back with me.
So JoJo asks, "What is this Buc-ee's?"
The truck stop.
It's a truck stop.
It's one of the largest.
It's the Walmart. It's the Walmart of convenience stores.
It is.
It's beautiful. And you don't have to wait for gas. There's like 95 pumps available. I mean, it's fantastic.
People, wall to wall people.
Wall people.
That's what I said. It's the Walmart of convenience stores.
Nice bathrooms. Yeah.
She says, "Oh, okay." They get excited about a gas station. Yeah, isn't that sad, JoJo?
Yeah, But now, JoJo, you can go in there and they have Christmas things in there. You can buy Christmas ornaments, Christmas trees. You can buy a lawnmower. You can buy a deer riding tractor. You can get a cup of coffee and a Twinkie. You got it all there.
T-shirts, hats. I bought a hat there one time.
Pajamas to air fresheners. Okay,
yes.
I mean, come on.
Everything.
They got. I will say this: they got decent food. They do their own barbecue. Their smoked turkey is really good, from what I hear. Their pulled pork's pretty good. They have, of course, the Buc-ee nuggets. Or beaver nuggets.
Beaver nuggets. Yeah.
That's what Brandi likes them.
Yep. I like the beaver nuggets. And I kind of burned myself out on them. It was horrible.
Well, you got to try a different flavor.
Burned myself out. It got so bad that because there's not one here or anywhere close that you can actually go on Amazon and purchase beaver nuggets. You can. And they're twice as expensive. They're twice as expensive. And by the time I got through that, I was like, I don't think I need them anytime soon now. I'm done.
Brandi likes beaver nuggets and the ball caps. That's what she likes.
Yeah.
You're sporting a Buc-ee's ball cap.
I am. See, and I've got my other one right here. I bought 2.
But I am the only one. I am the only one out of us that has taken a selfie with Buc-ee himself.
That's true.
Well,
how dare you?
I have to make sure that KRISTA and I one up you.
Yeah, we'll get a double selfie.
I'm trying to. I've got a selfie with Bigfoot. I've got a selfie with the Goat Man. I've got a selfie with Buc-ee, and I've got a selfie with Smokey the Bear. So I'm on a roll.
You are
really quickly. Danita says, "Hey BMR, what's a beaver nugget?" I tried it. I can't comment on what it is exactly.
It's like a crispy puff, but they're different flavors.
Yeah. It tastes like those corn pops as the cereal.
Yeah, but they're not. They're more airy. They're more airy than.
Yeah, but better.
Moon says, as long as they're not beef or oysters.
You are right. You are.
I would try beaver oysters. I would try beaver.
Well, with that being said, one more little line of business, and we'll get on with this story. I think we got enough people in chat. 88 people. Looks like. Thank you for coming on in.
Awesome.
We appreciate all you guys. Don't forget, if you are new here, subscribe to Texas Front Porch using the lower left-hand corner. That's on YouTube. Upper right-hand corner and lower bottom corner is the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast, KRISTA and Brandi. And, of course, my channel is Bigfoot to Michigan Rob. Please subscribe if you're new. Like, share, leave a comment. thumbs up. Mondays is Texas Front Porch, 8 to 11. It starts with Daniel Diva for the first hour. Then you got Tex and Brandi. Tuesday, I have a show with KRISTA at 9 o'clock in the East, beyond BMR at 9. Wednesday, Bart Nunnally and Humanoids, 9 o'clock on Wednesday. That's in the East with, again, KRISTA and Brandi. Thursday afternoon, right back here with Brunch with Bigfoot, Mr. Rob, 1 o'clock in the East. Now with Tex finally for a while. Brandi, probably not, but I got Brandi on Saturdays with KRISTA, maybe Tex. We'll mix up the panel every Saturday. And then, so that's very cool. Thanks, Brandi. And the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast, subscribe. Thursdays, 9 in the East. Fridays, 8 in the East. And then we've got a couple more, I believe. Saturday, we might be doing a show every midnight.
You forgot back up. You forgot we're on Thursday.
We're on Thursday. I said the Blondes and the Booze.
Yeah.
I said, oh, yeah, Monica Rollins, our Paranormal World, 8 o'clock, right before the Blondes and the Booze. She just added to the illustrious lineup. Thank you, Liberty. I appreciate that, my man. And so, yeah, and then Sunday, which is today for some of you, we got Brandi and Randy, Truth or Tinfoil. That's the YouTube channel. Subscribe there. And then after that is on Texas Front Porch with Miss Diva. You got Infamous Minds. That is true crime. Did I?
Yeah, we've been kind of trading. We can kind of swapping that out. I'll do a show. She'll do a show. We do a show together. It's kind of, it's been kind of, because it's Sunday, we want to spend time with our family and everything. So we've been swapping that here lately. So,
well, it's a fantastic idea, Tex.
I thought so.
Right.
Actually, it was a mutual decision. I mean, because I was like, I can't make it this Sunday, and she'd be like, I can't make it this Sunday. So we've been swapping back and forth. It's worked out really well.
Mm-hmm. So there's a question here I just starred, and you know what? They make a good point because I've had the same issue. It says, question, even though notifications are on, I've been getting them the day after you're on a couple of them. Same here, and I don't understand that.
That's a YouTube thing. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, it's like I'll get them even a couple hours after the show, and I'm like, I've already missed the show. So I don't know. That is definitely a YouTube thing.
Well, here's my thing is I get on my email because I have my YouTube tied into my email, and I'll get the next day the notification. And on my phone, you guys, I don't get notifications from you guys or any of the people I follow. Never.
Mine's always it's always late, and it's just random. Like sometimes, like I have my notifications on for your show, Rob. I haven't got a notification on my phone.
Yeah, see, and it's hit or miss with me. I don't hardly get texts. Hit or miss with the Blondes and with other people.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's a YouTube thing. So everybody just keep on both of the notifications and just subscribe and just be aware of our schedules. Go to our pages. We have our schedules posted, and we pretty much say when we're on at the beginning of most every show. So
yeah, and our show never change either. So
with that being said, now boy, we already got 95 people here. So we're going to get on with this. This little breakdown, you guys. This is a story I did earlier in a video form. And this story, you guys, I took it out of my book. It's not nearly as long as the one I did Thursday on Dogman Island with the girls and Tex. But this is sweet. It's short. And it begs the question, what really is going on in Wisconsin? This takes place in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. And this is off of Bray Road. Now, we've all heard of the Beast of Bray Road. And this took place in 1993. I got an email from a guy, and he told me this story, and I found it to be very fascinating. So I'm going to get on with it. He was out walking to his girlfriend's house that lives like in the middle of the woods in Wisconsin, Elkhorn, Wisconsin. And he walks there. He doesn't live too far from her. So he had started out his journey down the infamous Bray Road. And after however long he walked down Bray Road, there's another road, obviously, that it turns off, and it's a dirt road, and it's in between. It's in the forest. It cuts through the forest, which is a shortcut to his girlfriend's house. And so it's kind of like an oversized trail, if you will, but big enough for vehicles to drive down. So it's kind of like a dirt road. Again, off of Bray Road. And so on his way to his girlfriend's, he thought it was kind of weird because it was dusky dawn, almost nighttime, right? And he says, "Hey, Rob, man, I thought it was kind of weird because the forest was silent." And what he meant by that was he would always hear at least crickets and something chirping. And, you could hear some little rustling of little, rodents, squirrels, foxes running around. But he says, man, he goes, I did not hear really anything. And he thought it was right off the bat, he thought it was kind of odd. So he had a weird feeling, but he continues on the pathway to his girlfriend's house. And then several minutes on this pathway, on this trail off of the Bray Road, all of a sudden now, out of nowhere, he starts to hear the noise, and it's off to the right of him. It's in back of him, maybe 20 or 30 feet, but he hears something walking, almost like following him. It was like on four legs. He said it was quadrupedal, and it was walking. And so he just kept looking forward. He didn't turn around or look at this point. And he just keeps walking. He's getting a little bit nervous. And this stalking, he felt that he was being stalked. So finally, out of curiosity, and you have to look, he stops and he turns around to where he hears the walking quadrupedally coming from him, from his right side. But as soon as he stops to turn, the walking stops. Okay. So he turns around once again. He starts about walking down this trail. 20. Cool, Liberty. So 20, 30, 40 more feet walking. Again, now all of a sudden he hears this quadruped following him or walking from the tree line. So now this guy stops, turns over his shoulder, and this time he sees this huge dog in back of him by about 30 or 40 yards. But he says, Rob, I don't know if this is a dog or a wolf, because if it was a dog, it was the biggest dog that he'd ever seen. And it was big, and it was walking toward him. So he says, I didn't run. I'm scared as all get out. But I turn around, and again, he knows not to run, because you run from a predator, typically they're going to chase you down, right? At least that's what I've always been told or taught. So he keeps walking. He keeps walking. And all of a sudden, he's a little bit relieved because he doesn't hear this animal or whatever it is in back of him. It's all silent. Now the forest grows silent again. And so he's like, oh, cool, I'm only about 100 yards from his girlfriend's house. He can't wait to get here. And then all of a sudden, again, he hears brustling about the trail to his right and back of him. But he said this time the walking was different. Unlike the quadruped walking and brustling about in a tree line, he says, Rob, this was a person on 2 feet, 2 legs, bipedally. And he goes, is this a person now in the wood line following him? But he says, but Rob, I could tell because the foot, every time this person or creature or whatever it was prior, it would be like one step, boom, a lot more fierce into the ground. But it would take like 2 or 3 seconds for the second footfall to fall, suggesting that this thing had a long gait, right? So it was like a couple seconds in between steps. And again, he has to stop. He's got to turn around. This guy turns around, everybody. And right at the edge of the road, just outside the tree line, he says, Rob, I see a wolf standing on 2 legs walking toward me. He goes, Rob, it was a wolf. It was big. You could distinctly see this thing 30, 40 feet away. It's dark time, but it's not a human being. he distinctly sees a snout, a muzzle on this thing, and it's unusual. It's like what in the world's going on here? So again, he turns around and he slowly starts walking toward his girlfriend's house. Now he's maybe 50 yards from his girlfriend's house, and he still hears the bipedal footsteps, knows he's still being followed. Then all of a sudden it stops. And minutes after it stops walking down this trail or this road, in front of him he can see a light, and everything in front of him gets illuminated, and he knows now there's a light in back of him. He turns around and he hears like a motor, but not a motor of a car or a truck. It was kind of a smaller motor, but he turns around and it's like a scooter of some sort that's driving up toward him with the one dimmed headlight shining on him, and the horn stops. This guy on this person on the scooter starts beeping his horn, gets up closer to this guy, so he stops, waits, and then all of a sudden there's a man on the scooter. He says it's a creepy looking old man, kind of just disheveled, never seen them in his life ever since walking this trail. Kind of looks at the guy and grins, and he goes, hey, young man. The old man says, hey, young man, do you need a ride somewhere? Can I give you a lift? And he's looking at this scooter. He goes, where are you going to put me? He's just thinking. And he goes, well, no, I'm almost to my destination. And then the kid says to the old man, he goes, hey, by the way, though, I got to ask you, did you see anything in front of you or in back of me as you're traveling up this trail? The old man stops, he kind of grins and looks at him, and he says, you mean the Beast of Bray Road? Now, this guy, I don't know if he's a kid, maybe he's our age, maybe in 20s or 30s, I don't know. Older, the old man was way older, I guess. So the kid's like, the Beast of Bray Road, he's thinking. Now, he heard of the Beast of Bray Road in Wisconsin, because if you live in Wisconsin, especially Elkhorn, and if you live off Bray Road, everybody's heard of it. He didn't say anything. He just kind of nodded at him, and the guy grins at him and says, you shouldn't be traveling these trails at night. They're extremely dangerous. So the kid says, okay, thank you for that, old man, or whatever he said to him. So he turns around on the scooter. He takes off. The kid now gets to his girlfriend's house. She answers the back door. He comes in, and he's all disheveled. He's kind of sweaty, and his girlfriend realized. She goes, what's wrong with you? He tells me he doesn't tell the story to her. He says, look, this creepy old man on a scooter creeped me out. You ever see him before? She goes, I've never seen an old man on a scooter ever in these parts, and I've lived here as long as you have. So, and that was the story. It's one of the shorter stories in the book and stuff. And so as I'm reading this and I'm thinking about it, I don't know what to make out of this. I think the kids saw some cryptid perhaps, but how do you explain? I think the old man element really is what really, certainly Dogman creeps me out, you guys. But what the element that makes my skin crawl a little bit is the old man out of nowhere just all of a sudden shows up on this little scooter. So the first thing I'm thinking to myself, and we know that there's shapeshifters out there, but again, to produce a motorbike, I don't know if this man was a part of this. Was he actually a shapeshifter, or was he just an old man that knows about the legend of the Beast of Bray Road?
Or maybe he wasn't a shapeshifter. Maybe he was a werewolf.
Well, any of these, again, yes, any of these things. Well, yeah, same thing. Well, any of these things. My thing, if the old man was walking, I immediately would say, yeah, that was him. He was the creature. But being on a scooter, right? I've never heard of a story with something like that was a part of the story. I always heard about people that maybe turned into something, but not a physical vehicle. You know what I mean?
Well, let's back up here. There's a lot of stories out there where, especially trucker stories, where, I mean, there's a song about one, Phantom 309, that, you know, a trucker picks up a hitchhiker, takes him and drops him off. This is as far as I go. Sorry. You know, there's another country song about, you know, a guy being picked up in a Cadillac, you know, by the ghost of Hank Williams. So those stories are out there. And I mean, and it's even the reverse, you know, when you're driving along, you pick up a hitchhiker and then they disappear, or, you know, but so I think the stories are that are like that, are out there. And that's when I was listening to you read the story earlier today. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. Was this old man just a spirit or something that had come along and, you know, a warning type thing? Because the whole Beast of Bray Road, well, one the first, as far as I'm concerned, first mistake the guy made was turn his back on the critter. I'd have never done that. You know, if he was out on the road walking, following me, I'm going to keep my eyes on him. But there's a lot of elements to this story that scream paranormal to me.
Yeah,
I would agree.
Yeah, it was a shorter story, but a lot of things are packed into it. What do you think, Brandi?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of had this discussion the other night about different theories, and I just kind of threw one out there. I'm like, a lot of people associate demonic entity with Dogman, so we have that. And could it possibly be, if it is demonic, that it is projecting whatever it wants us to see? So if it were out there, and he possibly could have projected this man on the scooter, you know what I'm saying? Just to ease the mind of this guy walking to his girlfriend's house. Is it possible? I've seen strange things, so I believe it could be possible. Maybe it's that.
Maybe. So
I mean, we've heard stories about ghost trains, you know. So
yeah, that too.
So in this email, did this person say what this other road was?
He said he turned down a road, an off-road, kind of like he said it was like a trail off of Bray Road, a trail which travel like a road as well.
The only reason I'm asking is Brandi and I are going this summer to Bray Road, so that's why I was just kind of curious.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, I can always
say if they said where, we would
I could always.
I
I keep everybody's email that sends me stuff because I always try to get more out of them. Anything else happen? Give me more details. So this guy, I gotta look him up, and I will, because I don't. If I had known the road, I probably would have mentioned it. So I'm going to ask him that. Let's see if he responds back.
Yeah.
Well, y'all get in touch with him and see if you could. Y'all get in touch with him and see if you can meet him out there.
Oh yeah, great idea.
Yeah.
Now of course, this happened in '93, but still, it don't matter. I'm sure he's still alive. I got this story last year, so I'm sure he's still with us.
Yeah. Well, and depending on, you know, we know how things change, you know, and this is back in '93. I mean, that trail may not be there anymore.
Right.
Yeah, maybe
a house could be sitting on it for all we know.
Yeah, Freaky's got a good idea. Rob asked for a Google Map image showing the general spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and I typically do that with a lot of these stories if they give me an idea. And I don't think I did on this one for whatever the reason. I just figured Bray Road, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I'm not thinking all of these little streets that connected or paths or trails, right? Because he did say it was kind of like an off-road trail. Yet he said a car could travel down it. Mm-hmm. So maybe it doesn't have a street name. I don't know. But I'll find out. I'm going to do that for you guys because that'd be good for you guys to know about. Yeah.
Yeah, because it could actually be a road now. Who knows? Who knows?
And maybe if you can get a hold of them, you know, we should go to that general location. You know, Brandi and I could do a live on your show since it's you're in, you know,
well,
to you.
Well, whatever you want to do. I mean, I think it'd be key to find out what the name of that off trail, path, or road is. If I can
or
get
at least
that,
a general location.
Now we got someone to work with, or hell, give me a mile marker, right? Mile marker's got to be on Bray Road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm all for it. Looking forward to that trip. That's been on my bucket list and Brandy's as well for a long time. So
right.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be something for
one
you
of
guys
my
to check
highlights of this year.
Or a
That'd be a good
lifetime,
trip.
depending on what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Michelle says, "What if you see an old man on a scooter?" I'm talking to him. I
Oh,
guarantee you that.
well, but here's the
We're going to
thing.
stop and do an interview.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to stop. But here's the thing, too, that if you guys picked up on it during the story, this guy's walked to his girlfriend's house all the time. Never ever seen this old man on a scooter.
Ready?
And he asked his girlfriend about an old man on a scooter, and she said,
Mm-hmm.
never seen him. Never, nobody. No. You would think in these communities, especially ones that you are very familiar with and live your whole life, you find you know who runs around, who drives scooters, or who walks, who exercises, jogs
You'll
up and
see them
down
in
the street.
town.
You know,
You'll see them eventually.
see them, but to never have ever seen this guy, that's the mystery to me. So that's why I was suggesting or thinking, I should say, that yeah, he definitely was involved in this, whether he was a shapeshifter, a werewolf, or a spirit. Like text suggests. So yeah, that's very creepy in my book.
Did you see what Freaky just said? That maybe the old man wasn't the beast, that maybe it was a guardian angel.
Oh wow.
Maybe so. Maybe somebody, maybe saved him.
Maybe.
Maybe him pulling up on that scooter with that light because the beast was gone, right?
Right?
Right. P. Jean says that's how it happens. Drive the same road for years and bam, dogman on the side of the road. You're not kidding.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well, that's what happened to me.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That's just crazy, though. I mean, now that you think about it, if nobody's seen this person, because we're trying to figure out how it could go from a dogman to a man on a scooter. This is what we're trying to do. But what if Freaky's right? What if we're thinking wrong? They're not one and the same, that they're actually two different entities.
Well, I'm kind of almost agreeing with Freaky on this. Yeah. Keith from 1675 says, I'm betting the old man was watching the dogman follow the guy, kind of like stories about the military craft blacked out in the LBL. Yep.
You know, I never put that perspective. I'm glad that perspective was brought up because I'll be honest with you, that never occurred to me. And that, by the way, is why I suggest, and we all say this, our people in our chat room are the best. They listen to our shows and they offer great theories or
insight.
Insight, better word. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's, now that I think about that, I perhaps that's, it does make sense, right?
Well, I mean, because you got to think about the motor, the light, another person being on that same road has got to create confusion for any type of predator, I'm sure.
I'd like to know if that was a dead end dirt road too.
Yep.
And which way that was headed.
Well, one thing that not that I left it out on purpose, in the full version story on the video and in the book, actually it's in the book too. At the end of this road is where her house was, this girl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just what was a shortcut. So at the end of this pathway, this trail is where her house sat. Now, was there a subdivision in there? That again, I don't know. It's hard to believe that was the only house, right? It probably was a little community back in there.
Unless that was the driveway back into their own private land. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and honestly, it's good to discuss it like this because you can take notes and you can get back with the guy and say, hey, it's this and this, and it kind of gives you another perspective how to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's and that's something a lot of people don't understand. It's not just it's a story. We're going to be asking questions. because we want to try to figure out what was going on. That's all part of our doing our due diligence with these investigations. It's the same thing with this big case we got going on down here. It's been months. We went out there and did the first thing, and it's been months because we had to. There's waivers that we have to sign to be able to go get on this property and stuff because it's a privately owned property and all that kind of stuff. But we're constantly getting back and forth because if it's an investigation, because there's facts that we need to know, because we need to know what we're getting ourselves into, it's an interesting story, that's for sure. I'm definitely leaning, like I said, I think me and Freaky's on the same page. It's either a spirit or, guardian angel, whatever you want to call it, but I think that's what it is. That's what it sounds like, especially if that's a dead end road. If that's a dead end road and he was coming away from the dead end, why is he up there? And how does the girlfriend not know that a guy was on the scooter up by her house?
Right.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Because if you live out in the boonies like that, somebody runs up to your, drives up to your house. One, you hardly live out in like that and not have dogs. And two, if it's a stranger, they're gonna let you know they're there. And two, if you hear a motor, you're gonna say, well, who's driving up my driveway?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in this story though, I think the guy was in back. He wasn't coming from her house. He was in back of the man walking to her house though. So he came up, and had he come up, he should have seen the Dogman creature, but he didn't. Well, she said he didn't, but he just saw the man walking down the road towards her house. The man on the scooter did not come from the house. I don't know.
So he was going towards the house.
Yes.
Why? That begs the same question. Why?
Yeah.
And another question that's not answered in the story is, the only part I heard you say was he turned around and did he watch the guy ride off?
Well, when they said, at the end when the old man says, "Hey, you ever hear the story? This is the Beast of Bray Road, this and that."
Right.
Offer him the ride. They're conversing there for briefly, and he says, "No, I'm cool, thank you. I don't have far to go." Then the man just turned around the scooter and went back the direction he came up.
That doesn't make any sense. Why you're not going the same direction as somebody without a destination and then just turn around in the middle of the road and head back?
But then it does make perfect sense though if this was a guardian angel or spirit.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really the only way it makes sense.
Yep. I more we talk about it, you're talking me into it. Angel.
I mean, text right there. Boom. Yeah, this guy is in back of the man.
Yeah.
And he turns around, goes back the other way. Obviously, he had a. If you go along the same trail as the man, because he offered him a ride in that direction, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Why would he just turn around? He had to be going somewhere,
right?
And maybe he just was protecting this guy.
Yeah, I mean that's the more we talk about it, the more I'm convinced that's probably what was going on. Or it was just an old man riding back trails on a scooter. I mean, there's that possibility. It may be no more than that. Just a creepy old guy riding around on a scooter.
But here's what's weird though. Like he knew. He said, "Oh, you mean the Beast, the Bray Road?" You know what I'm saying? Like he knew that Beast was following him.
Yeah,
he knew that. He didn't say, "Oh, was it a certain person or
because it's funny how he knew exactly what.
Who's going to jump and just say, "Oh, the Beast of Bray Road"?
Yeah, no, the guy said, "Hey, the Beast of Bray Road. These parts are dangerous this time of night. You shouldn't be walking around here."
Exactly.
And then just turn around and leave.
And then he bolts the scene.
Yeah, I would be like, if it's me and like somebody approaches me and says that, I'll be like, "Can I go with you if there's this creature out here?" Because I don't want to turn around and go back to it. So there's something wonky going on there, and I believe it was his guardian angel.
It has to be.
So he just has a creepy guardian angel.
Right.
Well,
you know, they got to do what they got to do.
The guy says the guy was creepy. He was telling the guy was a creepy old man. He was disheveled and just kind of frail, you know.
You just never know. Guardian angels come in all.
Well, they come in all. Yes,
forms.
you know they all. Yeah, I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not suggesting otherwise, but hey.
Yeah.
Because old people tend to creep me out anyway. Sometimes.
Rob, you are an old people.
Yeah, we are old, right?
No, I'm not talking that old. Not that old.
Isn't that the pot calling the kettle black?
Right.
I'm picturing an 85-year-old dude, you know, that looks like a raisin.
A raisin. You know, I find that the elderly I love them. I love them.
I do too. I love them.
They kill me. You know, it's like you sit down, you listen to these stories, and you're like, and you lived. It's just like you do that, and you lived. You know,
10, 15 years, 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to be there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Keith says if he was a guardian angel, maybe that would explain the Dogman not continuing to follow.
Yeah.
That's you know, and that's what I was saying. Because you're not going to show up as a guardian angel as like a little 5'0" princess and expect to scare anything away.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. That's...
Although, how many stories have we heard about little kids, you know, giving warnings?
Well, that's true.
So it's like KRISTA. It's like I believe it's KRISTA that said, you know, they'll come in any shapes and sizes. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. True.
Well, angels will, but so will demons.
That is. Yeah.
I'm like, there's a flip side to that.
Yeah.
And I have to say this too. You know, all the stories that I've gotten or heard, or I've heard from Tex or KRISTA and Brandi. This is the first one though where something intervened in the encounter, right? Typically, when you hear about Dogman, he just vanishes into thin air or takes off down another path, right? And it's always a person by himself.
Well, it's like when we were talking about Dogman Island. I mean, you know, once we got to talking about it and really breaking it down, it went to me, it was completely paranormal because of, you know, just all the weird occurrences.
Right.
And I think, you know, honestly, more and more of these stories involving, like you said, Rob, involving Dogmen, they just disappear, or they, you know, something odd happens, you know, they'll be shot at and just vanish, or, you know, not like act like they got hit or anything. And that's what, you know, and it's what we've been talking about here lately. There seems to be more to this than just a physical creature. Mm-hmm. I still believe there's a physical creature out there because I believe what I saw was physical.
Yeah. Your story is the only story that says to me to go 100% interdimensional because of what you saw. Right. And that's really, and I being an open-minded guy, thinks there's got to be a combo. But
I do too. I think there's a lot more going out there. And I think it's like KRISTA and Brandi were saying, you know, it's not just angels, you know, these demons can project themselves to be anything, you know, or maybe they're not demons, but, you know, ornery spirits, let's put it that way. But, you know, they'll present themselves as little kids, as loved ones, as dogs, or anything, you know. You know, and the behavior around these encounters that we hear is I think the telling part. You know?
Yeah.
It's like they say, the devil's in the details.
You know, with War Criminals Encounter, we've talked about it, and he said what he saw
was
flesh and blood. Now, that doesn't mean it's all like that, or maybe that little blip that he saw was flesh and blood. We don't know the rest of it, but what he saw, he said that it looked flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Same thing, Brandi. What you saw was flesh and blood. When
Yes.
I saw the silhouette through the tent, there
Right.
was nothing woo to it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do believe in the weirdness that is associated with them. I do believe that they can do things that we don't understand. I don't believe they're all flesh and blood as like I once did.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a different element to what we and so many others are experiencing.
What are these orbs that are out in the middle of all these woods? And I'm not talking just the LBL. There's people go out in the woods all the time and they talk about seeing these orbs, different colors, different sizes. What are they? There's nobody around, in the middle of nowhere. So there's something to it here. There's something to it.
Well, it's like, when we talk to Greg, they've experienced the same thing out there. When we talk to Kristen, they've experienced the same thing out there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Me, Brandi, Nick, and Holly experienced the same thing.
Yeah.
And Josh is saying, take a look at his encounter.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I'm saying it's just
It's you're getting these. It's like half and half kind of stories, some, they're doing things that, a physical being, should I say, flesh and blood cannot do. But then you get these other stories where you're not so sure.
Right.
Well,
and for me, a lot of them are coming from credible sources. So I can't not believe either way.
It's what gets me is the and I think the ones that are physical are the ones you hear about that doesn't do stuff that is conducive to being paranormal, like why did it jump, like mine, why did it jump over the fence, why did it do this, why did it do that? It's like there's you talk, you hear all these stories about, well, it left all these tracks and it left this and tree break. That's a big one. Tree breaks,
Mm-hmm.
the amount of, the story that I told the other night when we was talking, about the dogman that, approached the father and son and went as far as to tapping on the window and everything like that. Danielle Stedman's story. They blew the horn at it. It just kind of laughed at them and tried the door and all this kind of stuff. Those, the amount of spiritual energy that it would take to perform those tasks is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
We're lucky to get, poltergeist activity. I mean, you get drawers open, you get this going, you get that. But these are calculated and I think the biggest thing for me is there's the length of these encounters that are sustained. I think that would probably we could use that as a dividing line between the paranormal or spiritual, whatever, and what's physical.
I agree, Tex. And I was just going back and thinking, a lot of stories that we've all heard are the flesh and blood looking wolf-like creature disappearing. I don't know if you guys heard this story. This reminds me. This story here to me is both demonic and paranormal, but the symbolism at the end almost makes it flesh and blood. There's a story about this preacher man in Missouri. He was a transient preacher man who went from town to town, preaching, but he never stayed more than a year or 6 months to a year in any of these towns. And he always went to these very poor parts of town. And this happened to be in Mississippi somewhere.
Right.
So he got his congregation together and he started doing his sermons.
Mm-hmm.
During his sermons, after the end of one of his sermons, this young couple was outside and they pulled him aside and he had asked him to come bless his house. He's like, well, what do you mean? He says, we have every night this, get this dog with glowing red eyes that's all white, like almost the color of a Dalmatian, but it looks like a wolf. And it comes every night to our window and it speaks these telepathic communications, which are evil. It shows them signs of torture and death and said he was going to get them. In fact, it says he was going to eat these two kids. They're like in their 20s. The preacher man told them that they were basically nuts and go seek medical profession.
Right.
He said, in fact, he told these kids not to come back and see his sermon until they had proof that they saw the local psychiatrist, which they probably didn't have one in this destitute town anyway, right? So time goes on, and these kids are still standing outside of the after the end of the congregation. At the end of the sermon, these kids, they're getting more disheveled looking. They're looking like they're having ate, and they're begging this preacher to come, please bless our house. They looked like they ate in months, and he said again, turns them away. So the very next week after the end of the sermon, there was a big congregation outside of the church. Well, this young couple, they were getting these visions from this white dog man with the red eyes. The kid took a shotgun and killed his wife. And then he committed suicide. Turned a rifle on himself. Now this preacher man is getting the brunt's end of it from the community because they knew that he turned them away and did not offer any help for them.
Right.
And they had a town hall meeting. They get in this meeting, this preacher's in there, and they had this guy ready to kick him out of town when he explained himself. So he goes about saying he didn't believe in certain things and believed that the kids needed mental help. Now, to make a long story short, they didn't get into the semantics of what was said, but this preacher ends up getting on his hands and knees, starts crying because he now knows that he didn't do the Lord's will, what he's supposed to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some guy puts his hand on this guy's shoulder and happens to be the sheriff of the town. Now, get this, everybody. He says, we know what happened. We know what you're going through because I experienced the same dog-like creature come to my window every night. Another man in the congregation came forward. Then another, and another, and another. So this was just not what happened to these kids.
Right.
This happened to like this whole community. I mean, it reminds me of a Stephen King novel, right? How this community kept this dark secret about this white wolf with the red eyes that came to their homes every night and gave these grotesque images to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now this preacher man is like, how come no one came forth and told me? Well, apparently it was just the big secret. But these kids, finally, when it came to the murder-suicide, is when it all came to the head. So this preacher, once again, off to another town. So the morning he decides to leave the split town, there's a knock at his front door right before he's about to leave, and he goes out on his back porch where the knock came from, and there's a basket. There's a basket on his porch, a big basket with a blanket over it. This blanket is moving about, okay? And he looks down at this basket, and he moves the covering from the top of this basket, and lo and behold, what's inside this basket is a white German Shepherd pup that was left. He took the basket, went to the sheriff's office, left it at the sheriff's department, and fled the town. Now, you talk about this paranormal, demonic, and at the end, an actual newborn or puppy dog placed at this preacher's house tells me a lot of things there. Like this community was in, they knew, and when I thought the preacher was kind of an a-hole, in the end, the town was an a-hole to him. Now, he should have taken care of the kids first and foremost, yes. But for everybody to know and not help this preacher say, look, this is what's going on, they had to wait until the very end when it was too late, when 2 lives were taken.
Yeah, there was unfortunately, and I know I guess we're going. I don't know how long we're going.
Oh, go ahead, Tex.
But unfortunately, he not only failed them big time, but like you said, the town failed them too, because somebody else should have came forward and said, "Look, this is what's going on."
Agreed.
And but the thing with the German Shepherd puppy, to me, that was a warning.
Yeah.
But who wants to look like a crazy person?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody does. So, I mean, could that be a factor?
But and again, a lot with the unanswered questions. During this town hall meeting, did all these people come forward and it was the first time they'd ever came forward, or was it a secret, like you said, Rob, that the whole town was hiding? That has to be answered first, because if they were each individually experiencing this and afraid to say anything, that's one thing. But if they're hiding this secret and everybody knows about it, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah, well, I mean, who wants to divulge that type of information to an outsider? I mean, honestly, you're thinking,
right?
This guy's going to go tell everybody this town's crazy. I mean, again, there's that side of it.
There is, and I don't know what time frame this took place either. So
right.
I don't recall. I'd have to look it up, but I just remember that it was Mississippi. I got the information, but I was just spur of the moment that I thought I'd bring up that story, because we're just talking about everything seems paranormal with the Dogman, right? And
be curious.
But I thought this was.
I'd be curious to know what town in Missouri that was.
Mississippi.
Oh, Mississippi. I thought you'd said Missouri. Yeah. I'm sorry.
And Shelly, no, you don't have to ask your friends. That was you can ask about the Beast of Bray Road for the girls. This is a different town. The second story took place in Mississippi somewhere, and I probably have it written down where it was.
And that's part of what. It's one of the things that bugs me about a lot of clergy, because they want you to believe, and anybody that knows me, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in God. But what bugs me is a lot of clergy they're asking you to believe in a supernatural being, but anything else supernatural is off the table. And why? You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Because there's a good side of it, to this, the supernatural being, that we know as God and Jesus and everything. But there's another side of it too. And if you're not willing to acknowledge that, you're not doing what you were supposedly called to do. You need to find another line of work.
Yeah, well, apparently,
go be a car salesman.
The thing with this preacher, though, man, when he's telling me the story about transient, he goes from town to town to town to town. I automatically sum this guy up as not right. I mean, who knows?
Well, but that honestly, that's very prevalent in the South even now. You have these traveling evangelists, and they have these
revivals.
No pop-up tent and have a revival.
Yeah,
so that's very prevalent in the South. And
so they're more of a salesman though than an actual. Right or no?
Well, no. Well, some of them are and some of them aren't. That's the thing. But it's like I was saying with clergy, the whole clergy wide. There's good and bad, like anything else. But the traveling evangelist is very prevalent in the South. Always has been. Still is.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And a lot of times, a lot. If they're doing the right thing, if they truly are what they say they are, the spirit moves. The spirit of God moves very strong in those circles, but you also have a lot of snake oil salesmen doing it too.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Because those are not. I mean, they can be real shady. But like I said, if they're in it for the right reasons and they're doing what they were called to do, the spirit moves a lot of people in those.
Yeah. The traveling preacher is also what is a top suspect in the Villisca Axe murders too.
I was going to say, well, we have a lot of serial killers that were transients.
Oh, well, yeah.
So there's that. I mean,
Yeah.
but but as for evangelists, things like that, yeah, they do and still move through the South. So, but normally what they're doing now is they're getting in with churches, their specific type of church, and then they'll come to that church or their grounds and have the revival. Now it's not like it used to be where they would set up a tent in the middle of nowhere and hand out leaflets or flyers or whatever. It's a little bit different now, but it's pretty much still the same.
Yep.
Crazy stuff.
Most of them are fire and brimstone preachers too that do that.
Yeah, but we did have the discussion about Dogman and the other night about how people believe that they're demonic, and we've heard reports of people rebuking them. And remember this conversation where they rebuke them, but then we go back to the thing is if it were flesh and blood, and how we are posturing ourselves while we are rebuking it could show that we're an aggressor, that we're bigger than them and that we would scare them away, such as a bear or something like that. We are posturing ourselves to be bigger than them, to scare them, but we're actually thinking that while we're screaming prayers and everything at them, that this is what's actually making them go away. But it could be just us yelling and screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would like to think that we could rebuke them. I would like to think that that's something that could happen. Because for, me and KRISTA not being huge people, it's not really going to do us any good. You know what I mean? We can make ourselves as big as possible. We're still not going to be big enough.
Well, but
compared to the size.
But I don't think it has anything to do with the physical size. I think it's the confidence and the forcefulness in the voice and that type. That's that thing. That's what I think it really is. Now, don't get me wrong. If these things are, demonic or spiritual,
right,
however you want to look at it, vanquishing them or rebuking them in the name of Jesus is definitely the right move. But these physical creatures, they don't want to be around us in the first place, and they're trying to scare us off, and if we bark back at, for lack of a better term, I think, it's no different than a black bear. That's what you're supposed to do when you run a black bear.
Well, you know what? I'll still do both just to be safe on both sides.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're gonna rebuke something,
I'm gonna do both. Forget it.
Yeah.
Don't hurt to try it.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
What I find interesting, while Rob, you were reading this encounter and stuff, and people in chat were talking about their encounters, what they encountered, and I just find it pretty amazing how everybody's was different yet still the same.
Yeah.
I love saying that. I always say that, KRISTA.
It's true.
Different, but still yet the same.
Yeah.
And the one things I always find about all these stories, encounters, or whatever you want to call it, they're different but the same, but they all have the same common elements.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get all the time what people will say, Hey Rob, how come you did that story on the Bigfoot crossing the road and disappeared? We all heard those stories. But for me, I'm going to tell this story because for me, as I always say, data, you guys, you got data points.
Exactly.
It's all about the data, man. You know,
I mean, how many years, Rob, have we been saying, you know, you just because you don't have some grandiose encounter, don't think you can't tell us because, well, we don't want to hear it because, like you said, that's where we pick up our data points. Because if these things are behaving the same way, or a particular, circumstance, or there's a common denominator across the country, that's where we can start lining things up,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we're going to learn stuff.
And I'll be honest with you, as I was getting some comments, how come that's such a boring story? I'm not it doesn't matter if it's boring or grandiose. Not every story is going to be somebody getting decapitated or they lost a loved one. Or
I must have missed that comment because I didn't see that comment.
No, not in this chat. I've gotten comments like on certain videos that I've done before.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rob, how can we talk? You told about the Dogman crossing the road. Why did you tell that guy's story? Well, number one, he sent it in. Yeah. And again, like we always talk about, I'll do that. Yeah, it was kind of, lame. We all heard the big.
I don't believe it's lame. I believe there's a lot.
Well, for people that are looking for that, not every story is going to have flair and it's going to have every element of weirdness.
No. We have to treat all encounters. We have to treat all encounters, with the same respect. Or there's just, I saw it, on the side of the road, or it walked in the house. It doesn't matter. We have to treat it with the same respect because, like you said, getting back to it, that's where we pick up data points. And every encounter deserves to be, told.
And I didn't.
We need to get the information out there. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to say they were lame, Chris. It was like just okay. Right. So it's boring, but it's not boring to me or you guys, or a lot of people, because we need this stuff, and we talk about it, like Tex says, ad nauseum for years about data. Yeah. You got to document this stuff.
And just like Cryptid Phil Mark says, you can't pick the type of encounter you might have.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And
I mean, honestly,
go ahead.
I mean, my encounters that I've had, you take the daylight encounters. There wasn't nothing special about it. Ran across the road in front of me, jumped over a fence. Bigfoot jumped, he stood up in the middle of a wheat field and ran off into the bottoms. The other one I saw with my binoculars, he was just standing there, hugging a tree. When you get down to it, those are very benign and encounters. But when you start putting the backstory together and you start putting the information together, that's where you start, they become interesting and for us anyway, and we can start learning, like I said, the common denominators that are in these encounters, and we start collecting the data and everything. So, it's, but when you get down to the nuts and bolts of any encounter, really, unless it did something crazy like knock on your window, or open your door, whatever, the 99% of the encounters are just road crossings and that type of thing.
Right.
So,
that's what makes the encounter KRISTA and I had unique.
Right.
Because it walked through camp.
Yeah.
With lots of people, not what would you say, KRISTA? 50 people, maybe?
Yeah, maybe 30.
Maybe 50 people, but we're talking about more than just 4 or 5 people. We're talking okay, well, let's just say 30. So there's 30 people. And this particular squatch had been watching all week long, people coming and going and talking and staying up and eating and hiking, and on that last night it was very strange after a storm. So it was very unique on how that happened. I mean, I think that story is kind of crazy to me because it didn't go across the road or jump a fence and it was gone. No, it was hanging around watching and observing.
Yep, walk through camp.
Mm-hmm.
It was just weird, and like I said earlier, there was nothing woo about it. We didn't see any orbs or nothing like that. However, we have witnessed orbs, just not that day, that night.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Another thing that gets me too is these people say, "How come you talked about the Bigfoot crossing the road?" Because these people, they don't need to watch the show. It's like, well, here's the thing: if that same person was on that road and seen something 8.5, 9 foot tall, 800 pounds, that's not supposed to exist, cross in front of his car, I think he'd want to tell his story.
Exactly.
You know, albeit for 90 seconds, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
These
people reach out to us for a reason.
For sure.
And I think being able to talk to somebody that's not going to call you crazy or a liar is a big part of it. But it's and Rob, you know this. Coming from somebody that has had an encounter and kept it bottled up for so many years, it's not healthy. And it's therapeutic to get it out there and be able to discuss it, without being, judged as a nut.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's first fear, like mine was, right?
Well, I mean, and it happens. It happened to me, but it happens to a lot of people. But and that's what these platforms are all about. Is we're trying to give people a I hate this term, but a safe place, because. But it is. You want to give them a safe platform, and it's not like you're asking everybody to come on the show if they have an encounter. We tell people all the time, if you have an encounter you want to talk about, you're having a hard time dealing with it, reach out to us. We're not therapists, but we'll listen.
Yes.
No, yeah. I mean, honestly, like mine and Brandi's encounter is quite boring, compared to Rob's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah, just walk through camp and stared at Brandi. I mean, that's what it is.
But even that though is like, again, like I'm saying, that's still something, because what the hell are you looking at? That's not supposed to exist. What am I looking at here? This is not human. This is not animal. What is it? I don't know what this is.
Speaking of not knowing what it is and being human, not being human, whatever. I met a woman today. I was out fishing actually, and went out fishing, and I was fishing on a lake, and they were having an air show, and we had me and my son-in-law, we had great seats. We're sitting there watching. We're sitting across the lake from the air show, so we're getting to watch the air show and fish. It don't get much better than that. But there was a woman there, and her and her neighbor were there watching the air show. And I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I like to talk to people. But
no, I didn't know that.
Never.
But anyway, we got talking and everything, and one thing led to another, and I told her, I got a show, got a podcast, blah blah blah. And, gave her some business card, gave her a couple stickers.
As we all do.
Exactly.
Continue.
Exactly. But she started telling me that she's got a presence in her house. Wow. And it's been there for years, but she doesn't mind it being there because it doesn't cause any problems. She just knows it's there. And so we had a discussion about that and everything. But, I don't even remember where I was going with this. But
that's why we love you.
Yeah, right. CRS.
Well, basically, we had been talking about people have a safe place to come and talk about it.
Yeah, and that's I think a big part of it. Once people find out about that, they will open up to you and stuff like that, and it's a good thing. She started talking about, she's close to retirement, and she's like, oh, well, I want to go, and because I was telling her about, doing investigations up in, Oklahoma and stuff, and what I'd seen and everything like that. But, I know where I was going with this. But anyway, she wants to go with us, by the way. She says, and I was telling her about the handprints and footprints and all this kind of stuff. And I said, because I'll change your mind on Bigfoot if you don't believe in it. And she goes, I've got I've got a good friend of mine that's a wildlife biologist, and I bet I could get him to take a look at your handprints. I'm like, oh, please. You know,
Yeah, no doubt.
So I'm hoping she'll get back in touch with me. She's got my contact information and everything, and set that up so I can send him the stuff and get him to look at it and get his opinion on it.
The infamous handprints.
Yeah. You know, it used to be I wouldn't go through a show, you know, without mentioning Brown Springs. Now I can go through a show and you know, I have to mention the handprints. So.
But I tell you what, though, I would as well.
Well, I mean, it's exciting.
Yeah, hell
I mean,
yeah,
right?
that is exciting.
Right.
You know, I mean, and you don't really, you know, I don't really, and Brandi knows this. You hear me talk about Brown Springs and everything. That's one thing. But getting out there and experience this place, and I'm not saying this, you know, Bigfoot or anything. The place itself, the energy that goes around that place, that surrounds it, is sometimes it can be palatable. You know, I mean, it feels like you can almost touch it, and it's just it's a for a lot of people it's a once in a lifetime thing, you know. But yeah, it's just and a lot of these places that y'all go, you know, and do these investigations. You know, LBL is a good example. Exmoor is a good example. The museum that y'all go to is a good example.
Yeah.
But fortunately, we have the opportunity to go to these places, and you know, we have these ends and these communications with these people that are you know, in these places and stuff. And the more people that reach out to us and have these encounters, we can find out where they had the encounter. Maybe we can go interview where, you know, and see the site and all this kind of stuff. That's another thing that we're picking up data points. And that's what we're doing, folks. We're picking up data and we're putting the information out there,
right,
as you know, to the as for what we know is the truth. And right now, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me because they think they've got it all figured out, and I don't think anybody does, you know. But we're going to tell you the truth as we believe it is, you know. And if we don't know, I think everybody knows, you know, our group of shows well enough that if we don't know something, we're not scared of saying I don't know. And there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there go, well, I know it's this, I know it's that. Well, you know, the late great Kerry Arnold once said that one thing one of his biggest pet peeves, and I couldn't agree with him more, is people putting their opinion out there as fact.
Yep.
You know,
it's true.
And that's not something you'll ever hear us do.
No.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm more confused now than when I started this this whole thing. Yeah, I am more confused now than I'd ever been.
And here's the thing too, you know, for us sitting here, what may be my truth could be different than your truth or BMR's truth or Brandi's truth. You know,
exactly.
What we
funny things, they're all different yet the same, right? As we always say, and that is the truth. I will say that's the truth. They're all different yet the same. You know.
Yep.
And I gotta tell you, it's already been over an hour and a half. I gotta tell you, the Saturday night late night show might have to start. It might have to get on the schedule down the road because this is our third straight over 130 people in the chat room. Thank you for everybody for coming on in. That's great. I really, you know, and I got to cut it a little early. I'd go longer, you guys, but you know, I still got some work to do yet, and I'm also going to my goddaughter's sweet 16th birthday tomorrow. Yeah, and she said, "Hey, Uncle Rob." I'm like, well, she says Uncle Robbie, actually. What, she really wants something? And she asked what car type. She goes, "What type of car did you get me?" She sends me a text. Car? You have a mom and dad? Yeah, I know.
Tell her a Barbie dream car.
She goes, yeah.
Matchbox.
She's well out of the Barbies, but yeah, Matchbox. She goes, no, I don't want to ask them. I'm like, well, I'll send you a picture. So I sent her. So I sent her a picture of red Corvette convertible. She goes, "Oh my God, you're kidding!" I go, "Damn right, I'm kidding." I said, well, I tell you what, you save some money. I'll save some money for you.
There you go.
So I got to get over there tomorrow. Do some things yet tonight. But this is a fantastic show. Hope everyone liked the stories and
fun.
And again, I like doing stuff like this because we just break down what we think's a possibility and we don't know, right? And that's why I love the people in chat room always have great commentary because they offer what they think because it's what we think. Now we've had experiences seeing things, so we have some idea on a lot of these things, but there's so many other things we've never experienced, and that's why someone said that this is a dying genre. All this stuff we talk about, how can it be dying when nothing's been figured out yet? Right?
Exactly.
Right. Well, y'all,
I'm still interested.
Don't forget to subscribe to Bigfoot Mystery and Rob, and subscribe. To the Blondes and Booze, and subscribe to Texas Front Porch.
All right.
Well, Tex, I'm glad you found. I had never heard you say that in probably 8 months.
I know. I'm proud of you, Tex.
Yeah, very good, Tex. You know, Maggie. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Maggie.
In fact, with that, I want to thank Justin Boyd, Donnie Cho.
Well, thank Justin again. He just gave us another
Justin again. Lolo, a BMR pirate.
Arg.
Yeah, we got about 120 growing. So we're doing good with that. And thank you for the super chats. Help support what we do. And it's great, you know, because of super chat, I can upgrade my Wi-Fi to the max. We'll see how long it lasts. I think that's a scam anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know,
could be.
Yeah, you're.
Well, I hope they've got mine back up and running, or somebody's going to have to.
Someone's going to do something.
Yeah,
you know, yeah, absolutely. But I want
sure.
Yeah, absolutely, Texas. Like this. Oh, we just gave you 10 MBs free upgrade for being a loyal customer. I said, you mean for BS loyal customer? I lose my internet all the time. It seemed like last year. Remember you guys?
Oh yeah.
It was terrible. When the wind blows around here, because all my lines are. Most people have them buried, I guess, but my lines have been here for probably 50 years when cable first came out, and they've never been replaced. So anytime you have bad weather, it gets all froggy, as Tex would say.
Yeah, you were out a lot last year. This time
I was.
I actually did one of your brunch shows by myself.
You ended up doing it by yourself. I remember. Tex did one by himself. Brandi probably would have ended up doing one by himself, but now my lines are all ground into the wall, so I don't have that problem. But and then I got a brand new, cool, good computer system too that handles a lot of data, so which is always helpful.
Right.
So that being said, yes, it was a great show. Thanks for everyone for coming in and for supporting us. And as Tex says, subscribe, and I'm gonna hit the extra button. And I think I got it, Tex.
You know, Josh has got a good point in here, though, real quick.
I didn't see. Yes.
This community has a severe learning disability.
You know, that is the appropriate way to end this show. Thank you, Mr. Josh. Thanks, Mr. Josh, for that. I'll talk to you soon, too. Everybody, have a great night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Are you ready?